Year. All right, let's get my face on this shit. Should I click on the right one? Bang! What's up, everybody? Hopefully everyone is having a solid day today. Today is Tuesday. What's up, everybody? So we're just going to head on into the draft relatively quickly. Now, I will share my screen right now. Or actually, I'm going to join the draft and then I'll share my screen first and then join the draft. But it will show my phone number, so I'm going to have to fucking take it off the screen for 2 seconds. I am looking sleepy, but I am wide awake, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm wide awake. All right. So we're going to be joining this draft, the $20 draft over here on Rafters. Let's see, it's about halfway full, I would say. Yeah, 6 out of 12 fill. First place, $250,000. So if you guys want access to our best ball and fantasy football draft kit, all you got to do is sign up using promo code Stochastic on Drafters, and it will give you one free entry into the $20 tournament. And if you just do one more draft, so you deposit $20, you do the draft you use for $20, and then you do another draft on there, the free one, then you'll receive our draft kit for fantasy and best ball for free. So we're going to try to hunt down the $250,000 today. I am 23 years old. I almost said 22. I turned 23 in May. So yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to join the draft now, and then I'm going to show my screen in a second. I just wanted to flash my fucking phone number like it did last time. All right. So we got 5 more people to join the draft. I'm throwing it on the screen now. Happy Jordan year. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. To be honest with you guys, I felt pretty old when I did turn 23, and then in reality, 23 isn't very old at all. I just think it's kind of funny. So, any news we got to discuss today, I'll just read off some of the more recent NFL news that has appeared on my cellular device over the last couple of hours. So, Antonio Gibson fumbles in that preseason game. If you guys watched, I'm not sure how much preseason you guys watch, but but what we have to say about this is that he fumbles, and then today he's catching punts, things like that. He's on the punt team. Does that necessarily mean that Antonio Gibson's certified to be a bust? No, but I am very nervous about Antonio Gibson, and I think you guys should be as well. Miles Sanders sidelined today with a hamstring injury. Nothing to worry about yet because it's still like August 16th, but it is something to monitor, I would say. All right, let's see. You're 28 this year. That's not even old, man. I feel old when I turn 23, but in reality, I understand that nowhere near being old yet. Still a young boy. All right. Let's see if there's anything else here. Kamara more and more unlikely to be disciplined. Yeah, that is one of the bigger news notes here. I think that Kamara is not going to be suspended. I've kind of been over that standpoint for the last couple of weeks. I've just been kind of off on the fact that thinking Kamara would be suspended. So I've been drafting him in like the third round. I think his ADP in best ball is going to move up to probably the second round. I think in some of your redraft leagues, if your league mates are keyed in on things, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was a first round pick. So let me see if I can pull up one of the draft I did last time. This one. Let me view the draft. Let's see here. My computer's a bit slow today, but it is what it is. So we will see here. Alvin Kamara. This was last week, last Tuesday. So 7 days. Good morning, Brett. How are you doing, good sir? So this was last week. We saw Alvin Kamara go at pick 20. If I'm being honest with you guys, I think in redraft and in best ball, his ADP could be anywhere from pick 9 through 12 in the next couple of days. I think that his ADP is going to skyrocket because Alvin Kamara is just by far and away one of the best running backs in fantasy football. And we saw last year that Jameis Winston dumped off at an insane rate last year when he was healthy. Obviously, he got banged up early on in the season, and people kind of have this narrative about Jameis Winston that he doesn't check the ball down. Sure, he didn't check the ball down at a crazy high rate in Tampa, but that's because they didn't have a running back like Alvin Kamara. So I think it is entirely possible that people start taking him in the first round. James Robinson participating a little more in practice after the Achilles. Yes, that is true. I do think James Robinson's a fine draft pick. He does just kind of scare me away from ETN. I'm still fine drafting ETN, but I understand that if ETN ends up being not so hot, then we could have kind of seen it coming because of the fact that Robinson will return. So in an 8-team league, oh, no. So I read that wrong. So I'm pick 8. You saying you would take him over Najee? I would definitely consider it. And I think that there is a chance, though, you are at pick 8 that he comes back to you at pick 17. So I wouldn't reach for him if I'm being honest with you. But I think that if his ADP moves into the first round, right, if he's considered a first round unanimous pick, then I'm taking him at pick number 8 for sure. You ever driving and put your hand on the e-brake and think to yourself, I'm gonna drift this motherfucker? No, I've never thought that because I'm not very good at driving, so I definitely would fucking crash the car into a wall. I'm not a Don Toretto in Fast and Furious, but I wish I was better at driving, to be honest with you. I'm also 8, 12, and 10, 10. Gotcha. 10, 10, I think you definitely could consider taking Kamara at the turn there. The Pomeranian 2 is filled up so fast on UD. Yeah. It's a 15 max, but you're probably going to have to just sit here and do all 15 right now if you wanted to actually get into that. So let's see. The $20 draft is at 8 out of 12 fill here again, 250,000 to first place. The one thing I really like about drafters is that I don't have to worry as much about the week 17 correlation because this is just weeks 1 through 17 and a cumulative amount of points. You can still obviously have that week 17 correlation to try to boost yourself from the basement to the fucking roof. But I do not worry about it as much. I'm very interested in this format because, again, you don't have to worry about making it into the playoffs. You just ride your team. And it also gives kind of some different thought processes. Like a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who, while he kind of is going to do nothing, obviously, at the beginning of the year because he's on PEDs, on other websites, that's fine because all that really matters is you get to the playoffs, then you win. Whereas here, I'm thinking a little bit more like, do I really want to draft a guy that's going to miss 6 games if I need to score points week 1 through 17? Just some different things. How high am I high or low on Ramondre Stevenson? I will tell you that I am pretty in the middle on Ramondre Stevenson. I think in redraft, Stevenson is going to be one of those. Now, Damian Harris could get traded. I don't think he's going to get traded. I personally believe that Ramondre Stevenson is going to be one of those picks where in a redraft league, you draft them. It's going to be hard to figure out every week. Like, I'm going to come on camera. I'm going to be saying, hey, I like Stevenson. I like Harris. One of them is going to do good. One of them probably won't do so good. And then it's going to be very hard to figure out, where it's even going to be hard for me who sits here and fucking stares at the computer screen trying to figure these things out. It's going to be hard for me to figure out. So every week, I think it's going to be a bit difficult, but there's a lot of positive news towards Stevenson being in the pass catching role in this team. So I think Stevenson is 100% safer than Damian Harris. Thus, I would prefer to draft Ramondre Stevenson over Damian Harris right now. And you don't even have to do that because Stevenson typically goes later. Is it just most points, no team versus team? Yes, just most points at the end of the year. Technically, it is your team versus a million teams. So, not a million, obviously 55,000 teams. If this fills, and if it doesn't fill, then there's going to be massive overlay, giving you even more chances to win. We're under 30 days away from the NFL season starting, and the thing only doesn't even have 15,000 people in it yet. So, looking for some decent overlay on here, making it to me the best contest to join in best ball right now. W, thank you. We have no guest on today's show. Typically, the Monday show has guests. Yesterday, we had Lofty on. Next week, we have on Monday. I think it's next week. We have on Chess Liam, the guy who actually won the $1 million last year on Underdog. If you guys want guests on Tuesday, I think some people like the solo streams just as much as they enjoy the streams with other people. So I can accommodate. Obviously, in the future, I can bring in guests on Tuesday, but it seems like the chat just likes talking to me sometimes. So I figured I'd just rock with that on Tuesday and then have the big show Monday. But if people really want to guess, then just let me know. Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy have top 15 potential. I agree. Personally, I am on the Cortland Sutton train. Yes, I agree. I hate that more and more teams are going towards a 2 running back system. Never know who to start. It makes sense for real life, right? In real life, it makes perfect sense for the Patriots to use Harris and to use Ramondre Stevenson and then have another back kind of tag in. But for fantasy football, it sucks. Like, but it makes perfect sense in real life. 10 out of 10 spot, I likely won't be able to get Mixon. Would you take wide receiver running back and go like Swift or go like Swift and Kamara? I think your best bet is to just go with Swift and Kamara and then just start hammering wide receivers in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round because it's a 10-team league. I also think in 10-team leagues, you should be a little bit more open to taking a tight end earlier because I think there's a stronger positional advantage in a 10 or an 8-team league to have that elite tight end when compared to, I would say, a like 12, 14-team league. 24 days until kickoff. Yes, sir. I'm very excited. Swift and Kamara are better than Mixon. I would agree with that. I do like Mixon though. It seems like really with this better offensive line that we're going to see probably the most out of Mixon we've ever seen in his career thus far. Like this is his best opportunity to step up. And he played extremely well last year, even with a piss poor offensive line. Oh, for sure. Didn't know if Matt was coming today. Look forward to love all formats of the show. Oh yeah, no, Matt is only on the Monday show. This is just me, but I enjoy this by myself as well. I like streaming with people, without people. I just like having fun and talking to you guys. You like tight end being used in the flex. Unless it's tight end premium, no. But I understand why some people might want to do that. But for me, that's typically a no. I'm super high on Mixon. That's acceptable. You can be high on Mixon. There's good reason to believe Mixon is going to potentially have his best year of his career. So I'm all in on Mixon as well. Kyle Pitts is tight end one with potential with Drake London as only competition. Yeah, I completely agree. I think I have Darren Waller ranked as my tight end 3 right now, but I'm going to have to move that because I really talked myself into Kyle Pitts. I'm still a Waller guy, but I've seen some stuff. A lot of analysts are kind of talking negatively towards Darren Waller, and that's kind of starting to worry me. I still think he's a good pick, though, but I do think Kyle Pitts has tight end 1 upside. I think there's a clear top 6 at tight end. So that is, I guess you can kind of switch the range around, but we have Kelsey. We have, obviously, Mark Andrews, then Pitts, Waller, Kittle, and then Schultz. And then after that is where it's not necessarily a disaster, but they all kind of meld together. Right? Like, I like Goddard. I like Ertz. but I don't want to be aggressively reaching up for those guys when I feel like I can get similar value much later in the draft. Think I remember you were high on Pitts last year. Actually, what's funny is I think it was the exact opposite. I did draft Pitts in some mock drafts I did, in some best ball drafts that I did. I didn't have him in a single fantasy league, but I wasn't negative on the fact that I thought he was a bad player. I just worried about the fact that year one as a rookie, he wasn't going to have this crazy year. He only scored one touchdown. So I guess technically my analysis on him last year was right. But this year, I want to be much more in favor of him because only one touchdown. Come on, he's bound to score significantly more than that. Alrighty. Kyle Pitts is going to be good. Mariota made Janu Smith a star tight end. I think he is going to be good. I think Mariota's a little bit better than people give him credit for, but I don't also think he's like some crazy, amazing tight end, but I do think he's still pretty good. I'm targeting or quarterback. I think I said tight end. I'm targeting Dalton Schultz and or Fryermouth unless someone in the top three really drops me. That's perfectly fine with me. I like Fryermuth a ton. Uh, the Steelers quarterback situation is a little bit confusing. Let me know, guys, in the chat. What do you guys think about the quarterback situation? Like, who do you think is going to be the quarterback that plays the most games? I think week one, we see Mr. Kiss and Titties Trubisky. What after week one? Do you guys think that most of the games will be played by Trubisky, Pickett, or Mason Rudolph? I would be shocked if it was Mason Rudolph. I think it's really just between Trubisky and Pickett. It's going to be a very interesting situation this year. I have some Pickett. I have some Trubisky in drafts like this because on UD, it's 18 rounds. This is 20 rounds. So I think you can go a little bit more crazy and draft like fucking Trubisky or something because maybe they are just amazing. Rinpack, if you would like to, you can join the draft. I don't know how filled is it because an update. I think Julio Jones in Tampa is a good sleeper. I'd say he's all right. I think that he has the upside to play really good, but I'm still kind of on the Russell Gage bandwagon with him falling. We need two more people, Rinpack. I think either way, they all looked viable enough in the preseason. I think so as well. I think all the quarterbacks in Pittsburgh looked pretty good. But then again, obviously, these quarterbacks are playing up against not necessarily the best competition. I hear they're going hard on Trubisky. I think it's going to be Trubisky week one. Yo, what's up, Paulie? Yo. Nah, it's Mitchell. We are Mitchell Trubisky. I just read that and had a fucking brain fart. We may see Pickett at the very end, but Mitchell only gets sat if they're out of playoff contention. And this is a team that'll probably be good for 4 to 10. Be good to be 4 to 10 or something. Yeah, I agree. I think that the Steelers are probably one of the more underrated teams in the league because Mike Tomlin can elevate literally dog shit to be a 50 or a 500 team in the NFL. So I am thinking that the Steelers are pretty underrated this year. I'm not necessarily betting on them or anything with real money or anything like that, but I do think that they could potentially shock a lot of people and be quite good, even with a quarterback carousel. What's good, y'all? What's good, Hugo? Hope you're doing well. Favorite rookie wide receivers. Also, thoughts on the Green Bay wide receiver situation. Romeo Dubes or Christian Watson will wake up. So, favorite rookie wide receivers are Drake London and Treylon Burks. There's a lot of negativity towards Treylon Burks right now, but I think I'm just going to keep buying the dip, right? He keeps falling down the board because people are worried about the week one production. At the end of the day, if Malik Willis hit Treylon Burks was wide open in that game, and Willis didn't throw it to him. If he makes that throw to Willis, or if Willis makes that throw to Treylon Burks, I think Treylon Burks' ADP skyrockets, and then we're looking at this situation a little differently. So I still think Woods might end up being the number one guy there, but I like Burks. London banged up. I think he's pretty much a smash pick, though, if I'm being honest with you. Garrett Wilson starting to worry me a little bit because I worry about a rookie wide receiver with the quarterback situation in New York that's just not so hot right now with Zach Wilson banged up. I like Chris Olave as well, but my two guys that I'm going to kind of plant the flag on, the guys that I'm most aggressive with, are Treylon Burks as well as Mr. Drake London. Thoughts on the Green Bay receivers? I'm taking Lazard, and I'm taking basically all of these guys. I think the Kansas City stack is basically your discount or the Green Bay stack is your discount Kansas City stack because with Kansas City, while some of those guys go late, right? I like MVS a lot. I like Sky Moore a lot. I've been drafting them a lot, but I think the Green Bay guys are just cheaper. So I like drafting all the Green Bay guys. If I had to bet on anyone being the number one receiver, it would be Lazard. I've also drafted some Dubes and some Watson. With Watson returning off the PUP, I'm a little more confident in him. But again, Rodgers really hinges on the fact that he has a connection with a wide receiver. So the fact that he doesn't have a connection with Watson because he's been in the PUP for so long does worry me slightly. And Dubes' ADP is fucking crazy right now. Unless you're in like a redraft league where you can get him for basically free. I know it's not fantasy related, but how do you see the AFC West planning out? That's a great question. The AFC West is probably going to be the most interesting division in all of the NFL because they just have so many good teams. These are four teams that could easily make the playoffs. They obviously all are not going to make the playoffs, but they all could make the playoffs. So my best bet here would say that in my opinion, I think the Chargers are going to win the division, but I do also like all the teams, but I think the Chargers are going to win. But I think people are kind of sleeping on the Chiefs a little bit. You're getting the 101 on UD a lot, shockingly. Is this a good strat to stack wide receivers and not worry about the running back till round 8 or 10? So what I'm doing, if I'm the 101, I'm taking either JT or Christian McCaffrey, and then after that, I am just hammering in on the wide receivers because I don't really like the running backs to come back to me at the end of the second round typically. So I think that's a good strategy. Sammy Watkins will surprise people week 1. I don't think anyone should be surprised if Sammy Watkins has a great week 1, right? Sammy Watkins is the king of week 1. He's amazing in week 1. What are your quarterback rankings for the AFC West? I'd go Mahomes, Herbert, Russ, Carr. So Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, yes. But I think it's hard to predict what's our impact. Thanks for joining the draft. Here's the 106. I got the 110. Helen Eckler 69 in the chat. Not in the chat, in the draft. And then a guy with the bluey avatar, the cartoon character that's on like Nick Jr. So this is a loaded draft room here. Should be exciting. Let me know if you guys have any other questions in the chat. I love answering the questions. Make sure I retweeted this stream. There isn't really much news to be talked about today. And then Antonio Gibson started working with the first team at the end of practice. Just very fucking strange, right? He's on the punt team, then he's coming back. Weird. Bluey is a legit show. That's funny. Broncos got that defense. Chiefs kind of fall apart. I think the Broncos could take first that division. I think so too. This is going to be the most competitive division in the NFL besides the Cardinals division, which I think is stacked as well. I'm bad with the names of divisions, if I'm being honest with you. Like I know the AFC East, the NFC East, the AFC West as well. How do you feel about James Conner? Jake asked. He's been driving to me a lot in mocks, but I think I'd rather go Pittman / Moore around there. I love James Conner. Now, there's going to be a lot of argument people are going to make, right? The guy scores, 18 touchdowns last year. He can't do that again. Even if he doesn't score 18 touchdowns, I think with them losing Chase Edmonds, we're going to see a lot more opportunity for James Conner to catch some passes, and thus James Conner being able to elevate himself even if he doesn't score 18 touchdowns, which I think is pretty improbable of him scoring 18 touchdowns, but I think he's going to be just fine. I think there's a decent fall off at running back after him. So like after James Conner, we got like ETN, Zeke, Brees, Cam Akers. Like I just rather have Conner and then just start drafting receivers after that. I hear a lot of people high on Rondell Moore. What do you think? I like Rondell Moore a decent amount, but I don't love him as a guy that I think is going to win you your league. I think he's just kind of one of those guys that the first couple of weeks of the season, when D Hop is out, has big splash play potential. And then later on in the season, I think he's going to simmer down slightly, but always has a lot of big play upside. I think Rondell Moore is a very talented receiver. Why do you say he can't score 18 touchdowns again? Just because that seems improbable to me. That he's because I don't think he's like the best running back ever to where he's going to score 18 touchdowns again. It is possible though. I just don't really see it happening personally. All right, so we're up at the 110. So JT, Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to zoom in slightly. The one thing drafters does is I think oh no, I can't zoom in slightly. I think they have a pretty solid view on here. I think the UI is pretty good. So JT, CMC, Cooper Cup, Jay Jettas, Jamar Chase, Dalvin Cook, Travis Kelsey, Austin Eckler. Pretty normal start to the draft, I would say. Nothing crazy just yet. Stephon Diggs. So we're up to pick here. This is a range that's pretty interesting to me because while this is a full PPR website, I think Derrick Henry could be an absolute smash pick at this range, if I'm being honest with you. I think Derrick Henry could end up being a league-winning running back, but I'm not going to end up going with him. and we are just going to go wide receiver. So I'm going to go with Devontae Adams of the Las Vegas Raiders. I love this Raiders offense again. While I did just talk about the fact that I think the Raiders aren't going to win their division, they're in a division that's going to be very high scoring, and they have a very solid week 17 matchup up against the San Francisco 49ers. Why did Derrick Henry fall so far? He's not injury prone. I think it's because people are just fucking nervous about him. People are just scared, and he's a little bit older. That's why. When was the first year you started playing fantasy football? When I was 8 years old, 2008. I played in my dad's bowling league with his friends from work, or his friends from bowling. Started when I was 8 years old or 9 years old, 2008. I used to be not very good. Shockingly, an 8-year-old isn't very good at fantasy football. But I do remember the first time I came in like third place. I had Victor Cruz and on my team. It was beautiful. So after Devontae Adams, we see Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. Pretty running back heavy at the end, but overall pretty normal first round. Here, we could just go with the instant run back, Las Vegas and Debo. But I don't want to do that. We're going to go CeeDee Lamb. I think Lamb's the best player available. I think Lamb has the upside to see a crazy amount of targets, like 160 plus targets in this offense. Michael Gallup could potentially miss some decent games. Jalen Tolbert is a rookie. I think he's going to command some solid targets in this team. But at the end of the day, this is Lamb's time to shine. People seem to remember that Lamb played really good last year. Lamb wasn't that great last year. So this is Lamb's fucking last, not his last hurrah, but this is like the final time where we see Lamb really play well. I like Lamb a ton here, especially in the second round. Now, we are going to be scavenging at the running back position, but I'm not afraid to just hammer wide receivers early here, especially in a full PPR format. So after CeeDee Lamb, we see DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones, and Debo Samuel. Again, this is not necessarily my strategy going into every draft. I tell you guys this a lot in the draft strategy videos. If you're not subscribed to the Fantasy Football channel, make sure you do that. Subscribe to the Stochastic Fantasy Football channel. I talk draft strategy. We've done a bunch of videos on that. Genuinely, I go into the draft just with a very open mind. Because I think if you go into the draft and you're just thinking, fuck, man, I need to get 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds, then you might reach on running backs. Or if I need to get a quarterback by the 5th round, what happens if all the good quarterbacks are gone? Now I'm thinking, oh, I have to reach on quarterback. So make sure you have a very open mind. I'm fine going double receiver. I'm fine going double running back. I'm fine going running back receiver. I'm fine going running back tight end, wide receiver, tight end. I'm fine doing anything. The only thing that I would tell you I think is a stupid strategy is drafting a quarterback in the first 2 rounds. I think is absolutely insane. Young King, stay elite. Thank you, brother. You taking Adams over Henry, Mixon, and Harris again? I think that it's really just up to you. I've taken Harris over. Now, when I'm doing best ball, I've done so many of these drafts now. I understand it says that I've only done 2 on drafters. I've only done 2 in this tournament. I've done, I think, 20 of the $2.22 tournament. I've done a bunch on DK, a bunch on Underdog. I am doing a lot of these drafts. So I'm trying out different builds in every draft. So this isn't necessarily how I'm looking to do every draft. I think you could easily take Henry, Mixon, or Harris over Adams. So don't take this as my 100% lock that I would do. How often are you taking W's in your local drafts? They're tough because every single person in my drafts with all my friends, they watch my videos, they have my rankings. It's like drafting against a bunch of people that know exactly what you are going to do, and it makes it quite difficult. But taking some dubs recently. I've been on a bit of a cold streak in my main league, but I do have 2 championships in the last 6 years. The salsa, yes, sir. Going double wide receiver early. I kind of like the double receiver early. Scares me a bit taking wide receivers over Harris, Henry, and Aaron Jones. I do like Aaron Jones. I like all those running backs, so I think you're perfectly fine doing double running back to start off. While Rimpaco and Kamara at 19, the run good continues. Yet, don't be surprised when Kamara's at 19 here. If I took Kamara at 15, you shouldn't have been surprised with how good of a running back Kamara is. So you're just trying to mix it up. Gotcha. Yeah, just a bit of a mix up between every draft. I think that even in your redraft league, say you're doing 5 redraft leagues, I don't think you should do every redraft league following the exact same mold. That's kind of my thought process on that. I feel like it's a bit easier to fade running backs early in best ball. It definitely is. And then you can just hammer late rounds and hope someone pops off for you weekly. Agreed. How much faith do you put in Waddle and Tyreek? Well, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I've put a lot of my personal happiness on that team. But I think Tyreek's going to be good, and I think Waddle's going to be good. I think the fact that Tyreek is there is going to leave even more room open for Waddle. Now Waddle doesn't have to worry about being up against the number 1 corner, and it looks like the 2 is a little bit better this year. So we're up to pick here. We're going to James Conner. We are going James Conner for sure. I talked up James Conner. I gave him a bit of a fluff up before. I love James Conner this year, and I think there's a running back fall off after him. So I'm very high on Waddle and Tyreek this year. Thoughts on your favorite sleepers and breakouts this year? Juju, Mooney, Thielen, Bateman, Elijah Moore, Michael Thomas, Devonta. I assume Devonta Smith. What's funny is a lot of those players are my favorites, breakout slash sleeper guys. I love Mooney. I love Thielen. I love Bateman. I love Michael Thomas. In my breakouts video, I talked about Bateman, Rashad Penny. Trying to think who the other guy was. Bateman, Penny, and another receiver. I like a lot of these guys. I'm a big fan. I don't know about Juju though. If I'm being honest with you, I know Rinpack. I don't know if he's listening. He's a big Kansas City Chiefs guy. I think that Juju is probably the worst pick out of that grouping. All right, so we're back up again. I think people are sleeping too heavily on Deontay Johnson. If I'm being honest with you, I like Davis too, but we're gonna go Deontay Johnson. I think Deontay Johnson is going criminally underrated. I understand that George Pickens is balling in practice. I understand Chase Claypool is there, but DJ is still a very immensely talented wide receiver. And no, I'm not a fucking hater of Rinpack. I just don't like Juju. I like all the other receivers in Kansas City though. Let me on the stream. Join the stream then. You need the link, Rinpack? I'll send you the link. I assume you could just join, but then again, I have no idea how StreamYard works. Let me slack you the link real quick. God damn it, why is it not working? I'll let you on, don't worry. All right, I pinged it to you. Yeah, I'm only in a draft at work. It's a pretty pricey league, so I'm just putting my all into that. That makes sense. We'll join soon. All right, see you soon. Right back. Would love to hear what you think about the Atlanta backfield. I would draft Algier. I don't think he necessarily is going to be the guy, but I think where he's going. Let's see where he's going right now. 149. He's definitely worth a pick there. He has a lot of upside at that. Why is Thielen a sleeper? No, he's not necessarily a sleeper. He's more technically he is a sleeper because people are sleeping on him. He's like a 6th-round pick, but I guess technically he's not a sleeper, but I do like him a lot. What round do you value Lazard at? I think he's perfectly fine in the 6th or 7th round. Smith Schuster. Juju going to be a perfect fit with Mahomes? Maybe I'm wrong. I just think I'd rather just take the discount on the other receivers there. That's kind of my thoughts on it. Thank you, Jake. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat. Alrighty. Deontay Johnson. Great interaction with the stream. No problem, man. I love talking to the chat. Without the chat, this doesn't all work. Need people to watch. So gotta make sure that I talk to the chat because I love you guys. I really appreciate everything you guys do. So let's get back on into focusing on the draft a little bit until Rimpack joins. Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis, Brandon Cooks, Hollywood Brown, Juju, Brees Hall, Zeke Elliott, Jerry Judy, Allen Robinson, Justin Herbert, the Pervert, DK Metcalf, George Kittle, Cam Akers, Patty Mahomes, and Rashad Master Bateman. So I'm not touching Juju in the 7th. Other values in that area. He's going in like the 4th or the 5th. So I think that you're definitely out on him. Julio, a waiver pick if needed. You're up to pick run pack. I think that. Yeah, I think you could pick up Julio. I mean, I think he's going to get drafted in these drafts. Brian Robinson has been great. Turner said he wasn't. Of course, Brian Robinson getting some steam. He's a good player. All right. Let's see here. Gotta start looking at the car. Ping him. Ping Carr and Mr. Dakota Prescott. Let's see here. Fuck him up. God damn it. God damn it, Bobby. Trying to pull up the Cowboys schedule because I'm trying to figure out their plan. I don't remember off the top of my head. The fifth round's a little early for Schultz, but I do like Schultz. I hope we can get him in the next round. Just gonna go best receiver available. Go with Michael Thomas. Upside is just immense. In best ball, I look so much on upside. Like, look, at the end of the day, Michael Thomas isn't safe at all. But I think his upside, he legitimately could be a top 3 receiver in fantasy football. So I think you just have to take that risk. They play the Titans. So we need some Titans as well for the run back. Some lit Titans. What's the Raiders schedule? I think I said it at the beginning of the video, stream, but I don't remember. I think it is the Raiders versus Niners, and that is correct. All right. Juju has potential 10 to 15 reception games, wide receiver one in that offense. Yeah, I think Juju does have that upside. But again, I just would rather just draft a safer receiver in my book. Give him some cash, not the dollar menu. That's very funny. Thank you, though. I really appreciate it. You guys don't feel obligated to fucking super chat, but I do genuinely appreciate it. So, thank you again. Shadow Lines, thank you very much to Jake. And we got to make this pick, and then I will thank Travis as well. So, we want to go tight end here. People are going to say, oh, Nick, you reached on Schultz. I think Schultz literally could be a top 3 tight end again. And getting him with Mr. C. Lamb already, we're just continuing to build upon that stack. Is there a point never going 3 quarterbacks in best ball? Like, if the first 2 are both run heavy or injury prone? All right, so Alex Baker, Osmo, the boss man, he wrote an article about 3 quarterbacks, and I actually think that on drafters, DraftKings, where it's 20 rounds, 3 quarterbacks is entirely more viable. And I've drafted 3 quarterbacks. I wouldn't say half the time, but like 33% of the time I draft 3 quarterbacks. I think my teams typically look better with 2 quarterbacks, but if I'm not as confident in the quarterbacks I go, so say I draft like Tannehill and Tua. Again, I love Tua. I like Tannehill a lot this year, but then maybe I want to take that late round deep shot from 3 on Baker or Mariota, something like that. So I think 3 quarterbacks is viable. I think Sky Moore and MVS both have more talent than Juju. I think Juju is a talented player, but I do think that either of those guys could easily outscore him. Alrighty. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Travis. You're right. That was my first. Thank you again, Jake. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Chat's pumping out now. Make sure you guys do sign up for drafters, though, if you haven't already. It's the cheapest way to get our best ball draft kit and our fantasy football draft kit. Dollar menus no longer exist. Yeah, I don't think they really do exist. I think basically everything that was $1 is now $2. The fucking inflation caused Wendy's 4 for $4 now costs more money. Like, god damn it, man. Nothing's cheap anymore, man. Nothing's cheap anymore. Captain Spock, you're right about that for sure. He is right. When's the last time there was a dollar menu? I think when I was a kid, you could actually buy stuff for $1 at like McDonald's and stuff. I picked quarterback last and loaded up on skill position. I've done well. What strategy have you seen work? If we're talking redraft, any strategy can work. Same with best ball. Typically, this year, I've been looking more aggressively towards the top 6, 7 quarterbacks that I like so that I can get one of the guys that I really want and I think has the most upside. But you can draft fucking Tua as your number 1 quarterback and still win your league. So I don't think there's necessarily any best strategy in fantasy football. I think the best strategy, if I was to name one, would be anchor running back. Anchor running back is basically, or it has another name. Hero running back, where you just draft a running back in the first 2 rounds. He's your hero running back, and then you just fucking are just throwing guys through your draft all the time. Like, so you're just throwing an RB2 in all the time based on their best matchup. I think that's basically the best way to go at it. So you draft one hero running back, kind of like we did. I guess Connor might not be a hero running back to you guys, but go hero running back, and then you just spam receiver, tight end, quarterback, and then you have a fantastic team, in my opinion. I've drafted 3 quarterback best ball teams. I have as well. You deserve it, brother. Thank you very much. I made it to the finals last year. Probably owe you a few bucks at least. Thank you, man. Yeah, this year, make sure you guys subscribe to the Stochastic Fantasy Football channel as well if you guys want fantasy football advice that's not as much tailored to best ball. On there, I talk a lot about fantasy. I want to make sure that we all win our leagues this year. Fantasy football is my favorite thing to do, so I love talking about it. So I hope you guys enjoy watching these videos. Big Mac went from $4 to $8. Yeah, the Big Mac's fucking expensive. Link it in the chat. Yeah, I will link it right now. One clutch thing about McDonald's, now this isn't sponsored by McDonald's, obviously, it's sponsored by Drafters, but the one clutch thing about McDonald's is that their app is like they give you crazy ass deals. So you can get like a 2 quarter pounders for like $5, things like that. So make sure to use the app if you're gonna order shit from McDonald's because it does save you a significant amount of money. So I'm gonna link the thing right here. Bang. And then I'm gonna go back to talking. Antonio Gibson in the 7th. I guess I respect that. All right. This is a reach, so I'm not gonna go with him. Dak still available? Dak's available. We're going Dak. Bang. Get our correlation. Yeah, coming in fucking second is impressive in fantasy, especially with how bad things could get. I think when I left high school in 2013, McDoubles were still a buck. Maybe they were. I don't know. That's when I got into high school in 2013. Lost both. That's tough, but it's just unlucky. At least you made it to the championship game. I agree. Uh, if you were gonna enter that $5, would you want to do fast pick or slow pick? Personally, I'm a fast pick guy because I think people make mistakes when you're doing a fast pick, whereas when you're doing one of these slower drafts, the odds someone messes up is significantly lower. Like people are much more on their game in the slow drafts because you can just take basically as long as you need. I'm gonna go Ramondre. Slight reach here, but I think Ramondre. Again, I don't think he's a great fantasy football pick because every week you're gonna be pulling your hair out trying to figure out when to play him. But I think in best ball he's a very good pick because you don't have to determine that. He just goes in when he has the best thing. Yeah, $1 fry every day. Facts. Who are a couple high end or tight ends that I like later? I like Higby. I think he's very safe. Tanyan is probably my favorite right now. Tanyan is just came off the pup, very high upside. Again, Green Bay is one of those teams that could really have a fantastic year. I like Hayden Hurst and Austin Hooper a lot as well. I drafted Barkley and Ridley last year. My first 2 picks, my season was over. Yeah, Ridley screwed a lot of us over, but obviously I think Ridley was dealing with some stuff. Then then now he's just out this year for gambling. He just like us though. Ertz, Komet, Austin Hooper. Yeah, I like all those guys. I don't think Ertz technically goes that far, but I do like Ertz a lot. Didn't know you could quit football. Screw Ridley. Yeah, he did quit. Right on. Ridley screwed me too. Yeah, Ridley screwed a lot of us. Scott Fishbowl slow draft took like 3.5 weeks. Yeah, but the slow drafts on here goes pretty. Here on drafters go pretty fast. Do you draft 2 tight ends ever, or just second waiver wire? So on best ball, you have to draft 2 tight ends, but in redraft, I do not draft 2 tight ends typically, unless I feel like my tight end just was ass or something. Right? If I didn't like the tight end, then I'll draft 2, but typically I just draft 1 and then just keep rotating them with the waiver wire. I'm pissed at Singletary when I really like Singletary, but I have so much Singletary that I think drafting him again would have been insane. Tua has top 10 quarterback potential, agreed. Justin Fields could be top 5 if he wasn't in Chicago. I think that's true. Fields will develop. Who is your favorite young quarterback? Tua, of course. But in reality, I think Lawrence actually would be my favorite right now. I think Lawrence, if the Jacksonville Jaguars figure it out, then Lawrence could really be good this year. Like he was so bad last year. Like it was honestly crazy. Like with how hyped up he got, and he was hyped up for good reason. So I'm not saying we were idiots to hype him up, but with how hyped up he was, he really disappointed a lot of people. I think this year he could really turn things around. Ridley, AJ Brown, and Woods all bent me over. Yeah, I was a big Robert Woods guy over Cooper Cup guy, and that turned out to be like I looked like a fucking absolute buffoon. A buffoon, I tell you. But you live and you learn, right? I didn't know they were going to eat breakfast every fucking day. What do you think about 2 players having the same bye week? Fantasy flags you for it, but I kind of like it. Okay, so every position, running back and receiver, you don't have to give 2 shits about bye weeks unless you're in best ball where you can't pick anyone up. In redraft, the only positions you need to care about with bye weeks is quarterback and tight end. If you draft 2 quarterbacks, they can't have the same bye week. If you draft 2 tight ends, they can't have the same bye week. Running back, receiver, I don't care about bye weeks at all. That's just how I look at things. If Burrow isn't your favorite young quarterback, you're nuts. Oh, the thing he went to the fucking Super Bowl, right? So do you really consider him to even be in that conversation? Like he's already elevated himself so far that do I even want to consider him that conversation? That's why I didn't say anything. Same thing with Herbert, right? Herbert is so good. He's super good. Like, and I know that. So I don't really consider him in that conversation either. Do you think Cup does just as good this year? I think he's going to do slightly worse, but I think he's still worthy of a top 3 pick in fantasy. This guy saw Joe Burrow play in high school. Guy was him. Yeah, he's great. I wouldn't be surprised if his high school tape was crazy. Quick fire top 4 quarterbacks in fantasy or the NFL. They're basically the same. I think Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes, and well, technically in fantasy, it's a little different. I think in fantasy, it's Josh Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, Lamar. In real life, I think it's Josh Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, and then I would say Brady. But it's different for fantasy. He's Joe Shiesty, though. I love Joe Shiesty, baby. Alrighty. Pierce went. Fuck, man. Why is Pierce going in the 9th round now? That pisses me off. My boy Carr is still here. All right. So this is a pretty solid build. Again, we have a lot of receivers. We have 4 receivers that I really like: Lamb, Adams, Johnson, Thomas. You don't think Brady is a top 4 quarterback in the NFL? I think he is. San Francisco, where he got. You get Ayuk. He probably already went. He did. We need some type of 49ers run back. Probably gonna have to go with one of those running backs later. Let's see here. And then the Raiders play up against. I think we already have that. Raiders schedule. Fucking Antonio Brown song is stuck into my head. He's not even a good artist, obviously, but the way he just goes, it's beautiful. Dallas plays up against, again, week 17 sacking isn't as important in this, but I'm still trying to do it. Tennessee. Oh, I said the 4th, so you think he's better than that? Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm back up to pick here. Let's think here quickly. Is this guy gonna take Carr? He shouldn't. He shouldn't. So we're gonna run him back. Get my boy Penny. I love Penny this year. Penny's going to be very hit or miss, right? Penny's either going to fucking destroy for fantasy football, or he's going to be ass and get hurt. I think if he doesn't get hurt, he's going to be amazing. When trading a top tier player, trade him for someone who plays you on that player's bye week. That makes a lot of sense, Spock. That makes a lot of sense. Is it dumb to take Ingram or Mac later in drafts? No, I'd be fine taking both of them. Oh, you're saying he should be number 1. I think, yeah, he probably could be considered number 1. So, no, I don't think that's a crazy take. How about Cleveland with the greatest backfield ever? Watson, top 5, and 2. Yeah, that backfield's amazing. Team's going to be great once Watson is able to play. Kareem does want to get traded, but it's not that he doesn't want to play. It's that he wants a big bag, a hefty bag of money. Hunt wants to be the RB1 on his team. Yeah, I can't blame him either. Do you guys remember how fucking good Hunt was in Kansas City before he did what he did? That shit was crazy how good he was. And I think his like first game ever, if I remember, I think it was my sophomore year of high school, junior year of high school. They fucking hand this guy the ball, he fumbles, or they throw him the ball and he fumbles, and then he goes crazy that game. I don't know if you guys remember exactly the stat line he put up. I'm just gonna look it up. It was literally crazy how good he was in that game. Kareem Hunt. Let's pull it up here. First game. His fucking first game was insane. He finished with 148 rushing yards, 98 receiving yards, and 3 fucking touchdowns. That shit was crazy. I literally remember like him fumbling, being like, "Oh, what a bust," and then just he went crazy. I hope you guys remember that. That was literally one of that was an amazing game. I remember it really well. I would give him the bag, but I do agree that Chubb's the better back as well. Expectations for Hunt this year. I'm drafting him, and I think he's like an average pick, right? I think he's never really gonna win you. I think Hunt's never gonna win you your week, and I think Hunt's never gonna lose you your week. He's kind of just a guy that you throw in the lineup. If Watson is able to play, now again, we have to assume Watson is getting suspended at least 12 games, And at this point, it seems like a year. Again, I don't want to just comment on like what he did. Obviously, we all know that if like I don't know how to like say this without just I don't know. But basically, I think that if he is only suspended 12 games, then Watson is very valuable for fantasy football and best ball. But again, I don't know how long he's going to get suspended. I don't know what the fuck the league is doing. I think they should either have stuck with his decision or stuck with the decision that the judge gave or just made their own decision. Like I don't know why they're going through all these fucking loop-de-loops. It's very confusing. Any running back split isn't winning you a league. Yeah, it's not going to win you a league, but it could be very safe for you. And if Chubb goes down, Hunt could go crazy. If Chubb gets injured, yes, I agree. Just exactly what I just said with Spock. It's just like Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon banged up. People seem to be nervous about Melvin Gordon. If if Javonte Williams gets hurt, Melvin Gordon's a legitimate top 3 running back in fantasy football potentially. That's just how I view things. I feel like Watson is out is in or out, good for Kareem. Brissett dump offs all day. I would think that as a whole, it's just going to be worse because they're going to be down and have to throw the ball more. Maybe that does help Hunt, but I don't think it moves the pendulum crazy either way. But I definitely would prefer Watson to be there for Hunt's upside, personally. We need some more running backs. That's just how we do. And it's funny because like if you guys look at this draft like in redraft, it would be so like I would literally yell at myself for drafting Dak and Derek Carr, but I think it actually makes a lot of sense in best ball. Get 2 great quarterbacks like this. Might not be down a lot with that defense. Could be true. Could be true. Cleveland defense is pretty solid. Chubb is the best pure runner in the NFL. I'm not sure he's the but he is really good. I've seen that argument a lot. I think there's some validity to it. Watson sucked for David Johnson's receiving game. That is true. But David Johnson also was not the same David Johnson from the past. So, like, I think if David Johnson was David Johnson from when David Johnson was the guy in Arizona, then I think maybe Watson throws the ball more to him. Unless CMC is healthy, I think the overall best running back in the league as a whole is Christian McCaffrey, and I don't think it's even remotely close, to be honest with you. But again, I'm not trying to fucking slander some guys. Rinpack going with Kenny Galladay. Seems like people are really out on Galladay now. I'm starting to continue to buy into him. He sucked ass in that preseason game, but I'm still drafting him. I think Javonte is one of the better pure runners as well. CMC is different. CMC is very different. This guy, he's him. He's amazing. We're not drafting another tight end until the end of the draft, just so you guys are aware. We need some Tennessee guys. It's the 49ers guys. Probably just snag Hooper then. Put that shit on. All right, we're going receiver. What's our bye weeks looking like here? Yeah, our bye weeks are fine. I really like Chark. I like Chark a ton. I think Chark's the clear number 2 guy behind Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit. I'm in love with Chark. In love with Chark this year. I think Chark is still really good. I think the training camp footage has proved that. I haven't watched all of Hard Knocks. I am very bad at watching TV because if it's just me, like normally I watch TV with my girlfriend, so I'm a little bit more focused. But when I watch by myself, I just fucking sit on my phone or I'll start watching something. I'll be like, oh, let me do a fantasy, let me do a best ball draft. I don't know. I'm excited for Game of Thrones though, but that's very off topic. Very off topic. Is it just $20 to join this, Nick? Yes, it is. These are just $20, and you can win 200,000 or 250,000 at first. I don't remember exactly. Let's see here. Wide receiver. We're not going tight end. Running backs in this range are all right. We're going receiver. Julio is like so hit or miss for me, but I'm going Julio because I think if he can stay healthy, he's still got some left in the tank. Also think Edelman was a monster. If he had the size, yeah, Edelman was a monster even at the small size. Why does Myers fall so far in drafts? I think because people are high on Parker, like me. I think Parker's the number 1 guy in New England, especially in the red zone. I think think Parker could be scoring a lot of touchdowns. I said best pure runner, not catcher. McCaffrey can basically be a slot receiver. No, I think McCaffrey's uh immensely like people seem to disrespect how good of a actual runner McCaffrey is. But maybe Derrick Henry you consider to be higher than him again. I think there's in terms of pure runners, there's a couple of guys that are really the upper echelon, and then there are guys behind them. Where do you sign up at, bro? Yeah, let me show you real quick. So there's gonna be a link in the description, I believe. Let me just make sure. There'll be a link in the description of this stream that you can click on. And then if you deposit $20, then they give you an additional ticket, I believe. Let me just read exactly what it says so I don't fucking tell you the wrong thing. You don't do the wrong thing. You're like, Nick, you idiot. Don't want you guys to do the wrong thing. So let me read real quick. My computer is mega slow when I'm sharing my screen, just so you guys know. So like it runs on fucking turtle's fucking speed. Um yeah. So if you deposit on Drafters, they will give you a free $20 ticket into this, and they'll also give you our best ball draft kit and our fantasy football draft kit for free. So you just got to sign up using the link in the description, which I'm just going to post in the chat. And then and that's probably the best way to do things. So if you deposit $20, you will also receive another $20 ticket. So you have two drafts for the price of one. Yeah, Spock, that's definitely true. I mean, the odds of you winning this is not crazy, but the one thing I will tell you is that the fact that only 15,000 people have signed up for this and it's a 45,000. Let me just back out and then go back in so I can show you. Let's see here. Okay. So when you look at this, only 14,000 of 55,000 people have signed up. I think it could get close to 40,000, but even then, there's so much overlay that there's just, I think it makes a lot of sense to join because you're competing against less people and it's a guaranteed prize pool. So that's just how I see things. Again, obviously, it's difficult to win these things. You can join a $12 draft or a 12 team league, win that, make some money. But I hunt for the, I'm hunting for that big upside. But you can grind the $10 drafts on here with 12 people and make a lot of money too. I just figure if I'm going to spend a lot of time, I'm going to just draft the one hunting for the most amount of money. Yeah. CMC is great. I got McCaffrey in the 7th pick. People are fucking so scared of McCaffrey in real leagues and redraft leagues. People get so nervous. That's why in your at home league, he could fall. In these, he doesn't fall ever. Go to Drafters Rise. It's got a large pool of players. It does. You are better off playing 12-man leagues odds. I agree with that. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. No problem. Just a random league. Pro League on the line on ESPN. Spock, is that you who does the Yahoo leagues, or is that Crackerman? I'm trying to think. Or is it not either of you guys? I'm trying to think because I'm so like I talk to you guys all so much that like sometimes I forget. But those Yahoo leagues, now again, they're not sponsored of this. Like you can just join there and just fucking destroy these like normal people that are just joining a league. You can just fucking steal their money. Oh yeah, that's you then, Spock. Yeah, you can just fucking take these people's money because they're not very good. It's a very enjoyable experience. I would assume. It seems like Spock very much enjoys it. Just an FYI, the Pomeranian 2, yeah, that's over on Underdog. That shit's gonna fill in. It's literally it opened at 9 a.m. or something. It's already almost full. It's crazy. My buddy kills it in the FanDuel leagues. FanDuel has them as well, I guess. Do you use FanDuel and DraftKings? I use both, yes. I use both. I play DFS and Best Ball. But I don't use FanDuel for Best Ball. I've never played on there. Again, I genuinely do believe the best site to draft on right now is Drafters because of the amount of overlay that could be there. So I think it's the best bang for your buck. Even if you only want to draft a couple teams, go ahead and do that. I'm not going to fill it up. I mean, $20 times 150. I'm not trying to fucking unload the clip on that. All right. So we're up here. We probably need another running back. The running backs are looking grim. Got receivers. Nothing special. We're just going to go running back again. Go with my boy, James Robinson again. He might not be healthy to start the year, but I think he could cycle in as my running back 2 at points in the season. Easy money. In July, at least 5 guys choose a DST and kicker. Before the last rounds, I never drafted early until this year. It's a gold mine. It probably is, yeah. I had $350 and 60 fantasy teams drafted on FanDuel, and they suspended my account. I have no website or anything to draft teams on. Really? That's crazy. Can you try drafters? Is it legal in your state? That's one thing that sucks about these things is like some states don't legalize this stuff. I don't know. New Jersey is weird. Like some of these sites are legal, some of the sites aren't legal. Very weird. So yeah, it's just the most points. So it's you versus basically everyone. Most points at the end of the year wins. And you don't have to add your lineup or there's no waivers or anything. They just automatically put your best score in. Fuck, someone went Tunyon. All right, we want Hooper. I think we can get Hooper on the swing around. Get that connection. And then we're going to have to go with like a deep cut in San Francisco. We're not going with another running back. We're going to go receiver. Going Isaiah McKenzie. He doesn't necessarily have any correlation with us, but there's a lot of positive reports out of McKenzie, and I think he has like 3 games in him where he scores like 20 points. I think that's going to really help our team. What's our build here? We got 2, 4, 7, 3, 1. Pretty acceptable here through 13 rounds. To be honest with you, I would not join any of this shit with a VPN because they will get you, and then if you win, you won't win the money. Any injured or suspended sleeper might be worth. I think D Hop, not necessarily a sleeper. I think he's worth it, and I think basically any player that you can draft late that's on the IR, like Jameson Williams, who could be put on the IR, he's worth it because you draft him, you throw him in the IR. Wait, can't someone cheat and have all their friends join the same draft? See, you would think you could do that, but the websites actually analyze the draft. So if they see that, like, say for instance, the first 3 picks are just like 3 quarterbacks, then they figure that out and realize, oh, they're fucking cheating for one guy, and they get you out of there and they suspend the draft and it doesn't count for anything. That is how they do that. I'm in Texas. Will that affect anything by joining? You would have to look it up. You would have to look it up. Is drafters legal? I'll look it up for you in Texas. It seems like you should be able to in Texas. When you sign up, it will tell you. It's not going to let you deposit without letting you know that you can't do it. But I assume it's legal in Texas. I'm going to assume it's legal in Texas. Yeah, we'll tell you before you join. Texas doesn't have betting, but they do have DFS. So I'm going to assume you can play this. So D Hop and Williams both expect to come back later on in the season. Okay, I'll write them down. Yeah, especially if you can start suspended player, or if you can put suspended players on your IR. Anyone who's going to start the season potentially on the pup, I love drafting and just throwing them on my IR and then just picking up a player immediately after the draft. I think that gives you a really good edge. All right, so we definitely need a San Francisco run back player. So we're going to probably go with Trey Sermon. There's a lot of positivity about Trey Sermon. If you're in this draft and you snipe Trey Sermon from me, I will be quite fucking angry at you. I don't care, actually. If you take Sermon, better tier, right? It'll be funny. But yeah, I'm really liking Sermon. 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs. Running backs that we need 6, I think, with this build. Need 6. Couple guys I still like on the board here. Some wide receivers I like. Tight end, we're kind of getting grim. Someone did take the tight end I wanted. Yeah, if you can put Beckham on I like Beckham a lot, and I like Fuller and Beasley. I've drafted all of them. Yeah, I think we're going to have to reach here on first because we do need another tight end before it really gets bad. Beasley is basically going undrafted right now. I think Beasley could easily slot in to be the number 3 option on a couple teams in the NFL, especially the Cowboys. Good luck, man. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, brother. You too. Got about 5 more rounds here. These things take long sometimes. Sometimes these go very fast, just so you guys know. Sometimes, like, you'll get in here and they go at rapid speed. 2472. Yeah, we're gonna have the same build. Who's on our team, Nick? I'm sure you have some good picks. Yeah, I'll show you my team. It's at the bottom right. I'll read it off after I make my next pick. Fucking McKissick. That's also who else. Hayden Hurst. All right, so our team right now, we got Dak Prescott, Derek Carr are our quarterbacks. Our running backs are James Conner, Ramondre Stevenson, Rashad Penny, James Robinson. Our receivers were very deep at receiver. Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, Michael Thomas, DJ Chark, Julio Jones, Isaiah McKenzie. And our tight ends are Dalton Schultz and Hayden Hurst. I do think if you're in a regular fantasy football league, you should not draft Prescott and Carr together. But in best ball, I think you need to try to go ahead and try to secure two elite players, especially if you got them stacked. So I got Adams already, and I already had Devontae Adams, and I had for Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb already. All right. Fuck. My next favorite player is Mostert, and they all have the same exact bye week of bye 11, which is funny. Fuck, I love Alec Pierce, but we're gonna have to wait on him. We need another running back. Brian Robinson looks like he's gonna vulture some touchdowns in Washington. I think he's gonna potentially have some big games there. He looks like the better back of him, McKissick, and Gibson. Let's see here. Adams and Carr, great stack, bro. I agree. I think they're gonna be good. I like Renfro a lot too, but I didn't want to reach on him. I like the team we have without them. Jameson Williams is a bum ass wide receiver 3. Dude, I think he's good. Crowder's the wide receiver 2 in Buffalo. That's not. I don't think that's a. I think Gabe Davis is number 2, but I think Crowder could easily be the number 3 guy. And you don't trust any Miami running backs. I trust Mostert and Edmonds. I trust Edmonds the most because I think Edmonds is going to catch the most passes. But I understand why you're going to be nervous, right? This is like the Niners. It's going to be a lot of running backs getting used, but I think that because the fact that I project that Edmonds is going to catch a lot of passes, I think the Miami running backs will be just fine. Alrighty. We have 2 quarterbacks, so this is a team. I forgot who asked earlier about 3 quarterbacks. This is a team where I'm not going 3 quarterbacks. I like Prescott and I like Carr. I'm not playing scared. I'm assuming they're gonna be healthy. Michael Thomas, people are sleeping on him. Yeah, people are sleeping on Thomas, but because of the immense amount of risk that comes with him, because he just hasn't played in a while, right? So people get scared. Yeah, there is 4 running backs in Miami. They're gonna use a decent amount of them, but I think they're still upside with him. All right, this team's looking pretty fucking solid here. Definitely need another running back though, but we can wait on the other one. Need some receivers though. Um, Zay Jones kind of sneaky. DPJ would be good, but the problem is Watson isn't going to play, so I think he might just be a lost cause. Like said, Wilson as the third receiver in Miami. Nick Westbrook, Ikain, pretty sneaky. Terrence Marshall, I love. Tyquan Thornton, I like. Vilas Jones, kind of interesting. Brian Edwards, I like. I like Kyle Phillips as a really interesting pick on Tennessee because people aren't really talking about him. But since we need that Tennessee run back, Nick Westbrook, Ikain is a pick we should be hunting for here. I just realized I wasn't talking very loud, so I apologize for that. Alrighty. Any shot Kamara still gets suspended. If the video shows up of him, I think he punched a dude in the nightclub, then I think he could get suspended. But it seems like he would have been suspended already, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm just drafting Kamara with full assumption he plays the whole season. Just like Kamara, I got him in the 3rd round. It's complete steal. Yeah, he's going to go in the 2nd or 1st round of most drafts. Where'd he go here? Rimpack took him, I think. Yeah, in the 2nd round, pick 19. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds to go here. 4 rounds to go. Having a nice fun time today, drafting these teams. All right. Watkins pretty interesting. try to get a couple of more of these ones in. We're gonna be streaming on Drafters every single Tuesday until the season starts, and I don't think this is gonna fail. So I think we're actually gonna get a Tuesday stream right before the season even starts. September 8th is kickoff. Pull up the calendar right quick. So we got this Tuesday, the 16th. Then we have next Tuesday, the 23rd, the 30th, and I believe the 6th. If this is still open, the 6th will also be a stream. Got a couple more to go, baby. It's not going to affect them until next season. Yes, I understand. But if the video comes out, then I think the commissioner could put him on the exempt list. That is the only potential worry you have. The only worry you should have. Alrighty. I think with the 2 tight ends we have, we're good because I think Schultz is just going to carry us. I think you could technically go 3 tight ends with the amount of tight end skill we have, but I'm good with what we got. Did someone take fucking Nick Westbrook? No, they didn't. We're eventually going to. I think we're going to have to reach on Sermon here. But I want to get Westbrook because of the correlation with the Dallas Cowboys run back. So assuming that game's high scoring, Westbrook could score. I like Sonny Michel, interesting upside pick. It's been a pretty fun draft so far. Pretty interesting. DJ, we're going Nick Westbrook. We have a lot of different bye weeks at receiver. This is very solid. But of course, like some of the guys I invest the highest on are same bye week, but it is what it is. Sure, I did grab Ingram to be safe if that happens. Dude, the problem with Ingram, dude, is I've drafted Ingram a decent amount. He just isn't good. That's like his biggest issue. Like he's this athletic freak. Like you see a picture of this guy with his shirt off, he looks like he'd be one of the best tight ends in the NFL. And then you watch him play and he has just fucking stones for hands. The guy can't catch the ball. He dropped 2 passes in practice yesterday. It's like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, when is he ever going to figure it out? Because I think if he was like, if he could catch the ball, that's like the whole part of the game. You got to catch. Oh, sorry for tapping the mic. You got to catch the football. But if he could catch the football, he'd legitimately be one of the best tight ends in all of the NFL. Because like when he gets the ball, he can do crazy things. It's just he can't catch the ball, which is just crazy, funny to say. A receiver can't catch the ball, or a tight end can't catch the ball. Oh, you were meaning Mark Ingram. Gotcha. And yes, that makes sense. I don't know why I assumed you're talking about Evan Ingram. It made no sense in terms of what we were talking about. So that's on me. That is on me. We have been talking for an hour and 12 minutes of just me talking straight up to. So sometimes that'll happen. Yeah, we're deep at receiver. Adams, Lamb, Johnson, Thomas, Chark, Jones, McKenzie, Westbrook, Ekain. We still need more receivers, though. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I just fucking... No, it's not your fault, dude. I'm bad with spelling of guys' names, too. Trust me. Even though this is my job, some things I can't spell. For instance, trying to spell Big Ben Roethlisberger's name for years was one of the most difficult things. I think his name is Roethlisberger. I think that's how you spell it, but I'm not sure. This team going with a 3 QB build. I like it. So what they're doing basically is just drafting as many receivers and running backs as possible, and then just taking these low end guys at quarterback and hoping that they pan out. Now, does he have any players to stack with these players? No. So this could be a vitally bad strategy because I don't think he has any stacks, and I think that's going to hurt him. But could he end up winning? 100%. That's what's so interesting about best ball. There's a lot of different strategies you can employ. Alrighty. We got 6 running backs. I don't think that's like the max you want to be doing. Unless I'm not as confident in these running backs. I'm pretty confident in them, so I don't think I need another one. So I'm just going to go 2 more receivers probably. Amari Cooper is a sleeper. And yeah. Yeah, Heisman, he did win the Heisman. I forgot about that. But yeah, Amari Cooper is pretty interesting. Based upon the team he's on, like he should see a crazy target share. The problem is just like, dude, I really want to draft the number 1 receiver on an offense that's led by fucking Jacoby Brissett, and they might look to just run the ball a crazy amount with Chubb and Hunt. Like, I don't know. See, I think Cooper's a good player. It's just the situation really confuses me. That's just kind of how I feel on things. All right. If you guys got any other questions, make sure to leave them in the chat here because probably once the draft ends, I'll recap my team, talk for another like minute or two, and then get out of here because I ordered lunch and the lunch, my girlfriend ordered lunch for us, and the lunch should be ready soon. Alrighty. Let me link the fantasy football channel again. So you guys can subscribe to that if you haven't already. Sorry if my typing is loud. Fucking loud ass keyboard. Bang, 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 bang. Greg Dulcich is. People are really liking Greg Dulcich, man. People are really steaming up Mr. Dulcich. Do you think Watson gets suspended more than 6 games? I think that's basically a lock at this point that he gets suspended more than 6 games. How many games will it be is actually the question. I think it's going to be closer to 12. And I think he is worth a later pick, but he could just screw you over and not play at all. But my best bet is that I think he gets 12 games and a hefty suspension or a hefty fine. Like I think it's like $10 million, $8 million fine. That's my best guess. But again, he might not even. He might get suspended the whole year. So right now in best ball, I'm just not drafting him. I just don't think it's worth it right now. But I think he does have upside. So for instance, right, I didn't have say I went like this build where this guy has Jones, Baker, Mariota, and Mills. I see no reason why you're taking Mariota or Mills ahead of Deshaun Watson. So I just don't get that. All right, so we're up here. I'm gonna go upside strictly, go with Tyquan Thornton. Now, I don't think he's gonna be the number one receiver in New England, but I do think he's talented enough to make his way onto the field and could score some points for us. Like 12 games, yeah, that makes sense. 12 games, maybe 8 games. I think he's definitely gonna get a suspension, though. That's longer than 6 games. Speaking of Kamara, report he's getting an awful lot of attention today in today's practice in both the run and the passing game. No shit. Is the draft order random as well? Yes, the order is random. The order is very random. He did actually Spock. Watson did speak on what happened, and he seems more remorseful now. Now, again, do you believe what he says? I don't fucking know, right? But at least there was a sign of maybe some remorse. Isn't Trey Sermon fourth on the depth chart, dude? He sucked last year. I agree, but the team seems to be pretty positive on him right now. And yeah, I think he's the number 2 guy and could be the number 1 guy. I agree with Spock on that. Here's the point where you might want to get a little different in these drafts and just draft someone that not a lot of people are going to have. Ashton Dolan, actually, I was watching, I think it was ESPN's fantasy thing. They talked up, Jonathan Taylor was on the show, and he talked up Dolan as a potential guy that we could see make some sparks this year. And I want to get unique with my lineup. I don't want to just draft someone that people already have been taking a million times. So I'm going to draft Dolan. Again, he might not even end up playing at all for this team, but I want to go with a guy at the end of the draft where I think not everyone is going to have drafted him. So I'm a bit more of I have a more unique team. That's just how I look at things. But again, you could have went with a safe play there. All right. So our team here, let's make it full screen. I'll just, oh, that's not what I wanted. Here we go. Just full screen on the draft. Our team is comprised of quarterbacks Dak Prescott and Derek Carr. Our running backs are James Conner, Ramondre Stevenson, Rashad Penny, James Robinson, Brian Robinson. So double Robinson on the team. Meet the Robinsons and Trey Sermon. Our receivers are Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, Michael Thomas, DJ Chark, Julio Jones, Isaiah McKenzie, Nick Westbrook, E. Cain, Tyquan Thornton, Ashton Dulin. And our tight ends are Hayden Hurst as well as Dalton Schultz. I wish I didn't have 5 auto draft picks. It's okay, Red Pack. It's okay. No one's judging you. Let's see. How do I look at your team? Sermon is basically going undrafted and is one of the best running backs on his team. Yeah, makes sense. You sent me your team. All right, but I think I can just view it on here. Maybe. not, I'm going to save this picture on my computer and just pull it up. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Download this picture that Rimpack sent me. I'll put myself on the screen too. Boom. And then I'll recap Rimpack's team here. I think there's a way for me to pull it up on drafters, but if I'm being honest with you, I don't know how to do that. Alrighty. Remove the share screen. I think Sermon is going to be, and Jeff Wilson are both huge values right now in drafts because I think they both have the upside to be really good. All right, so here's Rimpack's team. Rinpack went with Trey Lance, Daniel Jones, and Carson Wentz. I think Trey Lance's ADP is going to move up even further, right? He's picked 72 now. I think you can easily talk yourself into taking Trey Lance right after Jalen Hurts goes. Now, again, is he as good of a quarterback as Joe Burrow? No. Is he as good of a quarterback as those guys that are in the top 5? No. But the rushing upside with Trey Lance is huge. So I'm a big fan of Trey Lance this year. And I think he has a much better arm, a significantly better arm than people give him the credit for. Daniel Jones, I like a lot as well. Now, he's one of those guys that's really 50-50, hit or miss. Like, I think Daniel Jones could really light it up for the Giants, or he could suck, but that's the risk you're taking in best ball. And then Carson Wentz, I think, is pretty safe. I'd be shocked if he got benched, if I'm being honest with you. At running back, you went hyper fragile. You only went 4 running backs. You went Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Elijah Mitchell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I like Cook and Kamara a ton. Elijah Mitchell is one of those guys that I think is going to be either a league winner, right, where he just dominates, he keeps the running back position, he's the number 1 guy clearly, or it ends up being one of those where he starts off as the number 1 running back, gets banged up slightly, Trey Sermon takes the lead, Jeff Wilson takes the lead, and then they run with it. So interesting with Mitchell. I think he has very big potential, though, so I do like drafting him. Receivers, again, I'm pretty out on Juju, but I don't think that Juju is necessarily a bad player. I just don't like where he's going. Olave, Wilson, Kenny Golladay, Nico Collins, Wan'Dale Robinson, Perry Campbell, Diami Brown, Terrence Marshall, Juwan Jennings. I really like just drafting when you go with these wide receivers later. You just spam the receiver button, right? So while on paper you don't love this receiver core, he doesn't have to determine when to start these guys. It'll just automatically go in. So even if you don't love the guys on paper, there's going to be weeks where Golladay plays really well. There's going to be weeks where Paris Campbell might score 25 points. So I think this is a pretty solid squad overall. And then Pitts, Waller, Logan Thomas. You could even talk yourself into Waller being your flex every week if the Raiders are that good. So I think this team is pretty solid overall. He did auto pick a couple of picks, so, not expecting the greatest team ever on earth, but I think his team is pretty solid. Is Aaron Jones safe or what? I will tell you that I think Aaron Jones is very safe, and Spock agrees. Nico Collins, Jahan Dotson, Marv Jones, DJ Chark. I love all 4 of those players. Is it because of the quarterback situation? Because the quarterback situation? Oh, why am I seeing Deontay Johnson fall? It's because I think the quarterback situation is what's scaring people. He did get his contract, though. I think Rimpack has a pretty solid team. Lamb, Johnson, Thomas, great core starting out. Yeah, I love my wide receiver core here. So let me make sure I stop sharing my screen so I don't just show the text between me and Rimpack when I get out of this. So thank you guys all for watching the stream today. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I agree that he will get more work without Adams. And then rate this team running back from position 8, no bench, just in a mock. Lamar, Mixon, Elliott, Waddle, Woods, Schultz, Fournette. I think that's solid, but I don't want to be drafting Ezekiel Elliott in the 3rd round. I would have preferred to have gone with someone different, but I think overall you have a pretty good team. So thank you guys for watching today's stream. I really appreciate you guys checking this one out. I hope you guys had a great time. Just like I did, I had a great time on today's stream. And let me just share my screen again real quick. So if you guys do want to go ahead and join up on Drafters, again, I think the biggest reason why you are going to want to join here is because there is going to be massive overlay, in my opinion. I don't think that this contest is going to fill. We are less than a month away from the season, only 14,000 entries into this. That means this is it's a GPP. So they're guaranteed to pay out $250,000 to first, even if it doesn't fill. So I think your best bet is to get in on this. Out of any contest, this is the contest that I think is also the easiest to understand because you don't have to worry about the playoff structure. And it also has a lot of upside because it may only get to 40,000 people. could go lower than that. So make sure you guys do check that out. Promo code Stochastic. It's been on your screen the whole time. It's also on the link in the video description. I love you guys all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day. And I'm going to hit the outro right now. See you, beautiful guys and gals, if there's any gals in the chat, on next Tuesday live by myself. And I will be live Monday as well with Savoca and Chess Liam. And there's other videos on here as well you guys can check out. Make sure to subscribe to the fantasy channel as well. Love you guys. Just said a million words at once. Adios, friends. Thank you guys for watching again. I really appreciate it. Adios. Bye-bye.